You guys, welcome to Breaking Point, a new series that I'm going to be starting on my channel. This video might get a lot of views, and then the views will go down, because that's kind of what happens with these types of videos and series that I do. But anyway, we have to take on the role of F1 rookie Aiden Jackson against teammate Casper Ackerman and rival Devon Butler in this action-packed story experience. And team, you would already know by the title and thumbnail, but we're picking Alfa Romeo, and basically we have to drive as Aiden Jackson. Now, just quickly before we get in, make sure to subscribe and leave a like on this video if you want to see a episode 2. Basically, assists are all off, apart from 2, and then simulation settings are there. And now we're going to start the breaking point as we go into the prologue here. So, with the 2019 Formula 2 Championship coming down to the final race of the season, young British driver Aiden Jackson is looking to etch his name into the history books. Here in Abu Dhabi for the final race of the F2 season.
An incredible race! Look at it! Every driver is being so aggressive! Check it out!
They'll all be feeling the pressure right now. None more so than young Aiden Jackson from Carlin.
That's right. Rumors from the paddock talk about a possible future for Jackson in Formula 1. And with only a few laps to go, this is still anyone's race.
The atmosphere here is electric, and we couldn't have asked for a better finish to the F2 season here in Abu Dhabi.
Okay, Aiden, you're doing great. Keep focused. You know what to do. Copy that.
So here we are then, in the F2 car, as we go into turn 1 here, as our objective there is to finish in first place to win the Formula 2 2019 World Championship. And going into turn 3, we're going to have a look here on Sergio's set of camera here, going into turn 4 and turn 5 and turn 6. I'm going to get the move done there around the outside. I turn to the inside for the next corner into turn 8. No, I don't know. For the hairpin.
Good job, nice overtake.
Right, team happy with that one. Now next up is Nicholas Latifi, who is 3 seconds up the road, and but we have a lapped car here of Mahavir Ranganathan, I think it is. Yes, it is. You just see that by the driver tag there. And now we go down the second DRS straight, and going up behind us, the Sergio set camera might be looking for the move here. Is he going to make it? No, he's not. We're going to outbrake him here. Get the apex lovely through these next few corners, and into the next corner. Brake a little bit late, which compromises our run. We get a little bit loose there on the exit, but we get past the lapped car of Mahavir Ranganathan, and we go into the hotel section now, and we're coming, and we're going to try to catch up to Nicholas Latifi. And remember, we have to finish in first by the end of lap 6 to become the Formula 2 champion to get a drive in Formula 1. As now we come through the final corner and we cross the line, as now we're going into turn 1. The gap is about 1 second to Nicholas Latifi. You can literally just see him up the road there. And now we're coming through turn 4 into turn 5, and I'm gonna try that. And we're gonna get the move done, but I'm gonna get done into the hairpin, not quite. And I tried upshifting, I think, yeah, but got a bit too eager on the pole there. As they're gonna open up DRS as we go down the first of the 2 DRS straights, as I'm purple through sector 1. I'm going to try that for the move, not quite. Let's see if he closes the door on us there. I'm going to try and get her through the second DRS straight. We took it to the slipstream going into turn 11, and I'm going to get the move done around the outside. And next up is Luca Ghiotto here for the race lead and the World Championship. And as we come round the next few corners into the hotel section, and the gap is already under a second. Now it's just got over a second, and now we go under the hotel and we get that pretty much nailed. And now we come through the final corner now to start the final lap of the race. And now I'll go try look for a move on Luca Ghiotto.
Final lap of the race. We're leading our teammate by 22.8 seconds.
As we make a little bit of contact there with Luca Ghiotto as we go on to the final lap now, and we hit the ball up there. And now we're going through it into turn number 4, turn 5. We're trying to go around the outside here. So for the inside, we're going to make the same move that we did on Sergio Sette Camera when we started this bit. And now we go down the back straight yet again for the second lap in a row. We get a little bit loose there, and that's going to now invite Luca Ghiotto to walk past us basically. But I'm going to tuck back into the slipstream straight away as soon as he finishes overtaking us. We're going to get him back around the outside here into the next corner, which is turn 8, and going into turn 9 we're going to have the inside line, and we're going to keep him. We're going to stay ahead of Luca Ghiotto now. But he's going to get DRS again as we go down the second DRS straight yet again, and we already have the gap to Luca Ghiotto. As now we're coming into this final sector for the final time in probably Aiden Jackson's F2 career, as now we head into the hotel section for the final time in Formula 2. A little bit of luck up there, as now we go under the hotel here in Abu Dhabi for the final time. Unfortunately, we won't get any fireworks because it's middle of the day, but anyway, who cares? Aiden Jackson's going to come through the final corner, and he is going to come home to win not only the championship but also the race win.
Great drive, mate. Congratulations.
Yes! Come on! And he's done it! Jackson's done it! Aiden Jackson wins the F2 championship!
What a win for Jackson! What a win!
And it couldn't have gone to a better driver. A magnificent result. He's already been vocal about his dreams of one day driving for Ferrari in Formula 1. Let's just hope the right people are watching today. And here he is, the man of the moment, Aiden Jackson.
An amazing race and a fantastic win for this incredible driver.
Indeed. After this, I'd guarantee that Jackson will be the hot topic in more than a few upcoming F1 team meetings. The future's definitely bright for this young driver.
So then, after our victory there for Aiden Jackson, we move into F1 here. So, Chapter 1. Having won the Formula 2 Drivers' Championship, Aiden Jackson has now secured a seat in Formula 1 and is preparing to take his first steps into the world's most prestigious motorsport series, Australian Grand Prix, several months later.
Aiden, Now you've made the leap to Formula One, no surprise to anyone who's been watching your career. How does it feel to be on the verge of getting behind the wheel for your first race?
To be honest with you, Will, it hasn't really quite sunk in yet. The team has given me a fantastic opportunity. It's a once in a lifetime, a dream come true. So, to answer your question, I feel like a little kid. I look around and I'm surrounded by my heroes, you know? I've even had to pinch myself a couple of times. So, yeah, it can be a bit overwhelming. But out on the track, the speed, the noise, even the smell, it's all the same. I just hope my driving is too.
And what about Casper Ackerman? Are you intimidated at all having such a seasoned and experienced driver as your first teammate in Formula One? How's that relationship coming along?
I've always looked up to Casper as someone to aspire to. Growing up as a kid, his pictures all over my bedroom walls, you know? The dream was always to be Casper. But, as it turns out, I'll be racing alongside Casper, which is good enough for me. I get to learn from the best. Besides, every legend has to start somewhere, right?
Aiden, just wondering if we can get your reaction to the obvious comparisons that are being made between you and another F1 driver. Much like you, he made the transition from F2 to F1 last season. What do you say to the press here, and to your fans, who are calling you the new Devon Butler?
The new Devon Butler. I'm alright with that. Does that mean we can lose the old one?
You come over well. They like you. I don't know what you were worried about.
Thanks.
You know, everything's going to be fine out there today. I just know it. Just do what you did in F2. Easy.
Thanks, Brian. I won't let you down. Come on, Aiden. You've got this.
Right then, so we have done our first interview. Aiden Jackson's done his first interview, and now we are in the what are we in? We're in the motorhome here in the first race in Australia. Then, so as it says there, it is time for F1 2020. As we're just going to read the news, as we have 4 tabs here. We've got the news, we've got social, we've got email, and we've got advance. So, the first thing says we have a call from Ryan.
Hello?
Aiden, are you in your room?
Oh, hey Brian. Yeah, I'm in my room.
Good. Well, have a look around. I hope you like it. Should be everything you need in there. News feeds, social media. It's hooked up to the lot. Just do me a favour, eh?
Go on.
Make sure you check your emails. I think there's a message in there for you.
Oh, right. Thanks, Brian.
Take a breather, do what you need to do, and I'll see you before the race.
Nice one.
And so we have an email here from Casper Ackerman, our new teammate, saying that we left a bit of paperwork here. I'm going to get another call here, pretty popular here, but it's from his mum.
Hello?
Hello, love. How's it going?
Alright, Ma. Yeah, it's going alright. Just getting ready.
I saw your interview.
And?
You need a haircut.
Alright. Well, thanks, I guess.
But aside from that, you were great. I'm so proud of you, Aiden.
I know, Ma. Thanks.
I wish I could be out there with you. This is everything you've worked towards.
Yeah, I know, but you'll be at the next one.
Just do what you do, and everything will be great.
Thanks, Ma.
And remember, mirror signal maneuver. And always stick to the speed limit.
Great advice. I'm all over it.
I know you are, love. I'll speak to you later. Good luck.
Bye.
So, Aiden's mum is quite funny already, as giving him a couple of tips, as we're going to collect rewards for thing. Now, I have recorded this when with the old podium pass. But we're just going to go to the race now. So, with the world watching and expectations high at Alfa Romeo, F1 rookie Aiden Jackson appears to be holding his own in his maiden race in Melbourne, with the possibility of points. The finish, he keeps focused on the race in front of him. Australian Grand Prix, mid-race.
A solid start, Aiden. Let's try and push it further.
Copy that. Where's Casper?
He's up ahead. Let's try and bring you two closer together.
Right then, so here we are then in the Alfa Romeo here in Australia, and our objective is to catch up to our veteran teammate Casper Ackermann before lap 11, and he is in P10 at the moment. He's 7 seconds ahead, and we are in P14. We've got to get past Ricardo, who is just up the road. Is 1.3 seconds, and basically what we have to do is I'm guessing something could probably happen.
Casper's in P10 at the moment.
With when we catch up to Casper Ackermann below lap 11, as Valtteri Bottas sets in the fastest lap of the race. We're struggling a bit with understeer through the left-right chicane there, and now we're going into the final few corners here to finish off the lap, and we're nearly catching up to Daniel Ricciardo. Gap is 1.1, and going through the final corner now. We're going to set, it looks like we're going to set a personal best, but I don't know now with the slide that we had. Oh, we set all at 26.5. So we're going into turn 1 and turn 2, and then going into turn 3. We're not quite within DRS yet, but we are now into turn 3, and we are getting ever closer to Daniel Ricciardo here.
You're 4 places down on Casper.
As Jeff just said that we're 4 places down on Casper, who is now about 5 seconds ahead. Let's get a little bit loose there, put the power down a bit too early there as we went over the curb, and the gap to Ricciardo's is 0.6 of a second, and gap to Casper Ackermann is it's about 4.6 seconds, as I think just ahead of Ricciardo is George Russell, I think in Williams, might be wrong, but we're going to get DRS now, and we're going to come into the final few corners of the lap, and yes, it is George Russell running up in P12, as now we're going to try and navigate Daniel Ricciardo here. Are we going to try look for moving to the final few corners? Not quite. We're going to try it around the outside, but he closes the door shut, and
Casper's in P10 at the moment.
Through the final corner we go, open up DRS there, a little bit contact there with Ricciardo, and we are going to get a warning for that, as we try to get past George Russell, but Ricciardo just blocks his own there. He closes the door shut, and we're going to open DRS here, a little bit understeer there. Ricciardo's going to look for the move on George Russell, and we're going to try to look for the move as well, but we're just going to hand back here. We're going to try to switch back on George Russell, but because they're going side by side with Daniel Ricciardo there, he's on hard tyres as we sneak up the inside there. We made a little bit of contact there. We didn't get a warning for a collision with Russell there, and then we're going to send it down the inside of Daniel Ricciardo, the home favourite, into turn 7, and now going into turn 9, as next up is Mr. Devon Butler, who is 2.4 seconds up the road, and we've almost nearly
Casper is a couple of places up on you.
As Jeff has just given us the positions for where Casper is, and we've already made the second gap on Daniel Ricciardo. As again we're coming through the final few corners now, and also just quickly, me and one of my partners on Instagram is actually going to be doing a 2-player career mode together. We have already done the first one as I'm commentating this. I'm not making it to a video because 1, I didn't record it, and 2, I basically messed up, so it wasn't a good one as well. But if you haven't checked his channel, I'll link it in the description.
Casper's
It is
P10 at the moment.
It's Spark666. He's a good friend. He's a nice guy. You should go check him out, subscribe to him. As now we're going to try look for the move here on Devon Butler. And we're going to look move. Yes, we are going to send it down the inside.
Casper now, Aiden. Good job.
Going in as we're heading towards the fast left right chicane. And past Devon Butler. Next up is Casper Ackerman, our teammate, who is 2.2 seconds up the road. He absolutely nailed the fast left right chicane there. And now going into the final few corners, the gap is already down to 1.6 seconds. So we are gaining on Casper Ackerman by a lot. As now we're going to head on to lap 10 now. Got a little bit of understeer there, took it in too much of a high gear. Struggling with the understeer on the
Casper
balance,
is directly ahead of you.
on the balance default setup. We set a new personal best. Going on to lap number 10, going through turn 1 and turn 2, and we are within DRS range, but we're not going to get DRS because the detection point is between turn 15 and 16. But now as we come through into turn 3, we get cutscene.
What a brilliant Australian Grand Prix this has been, but there's still plenty of time for more drama.
There certainly is, Crofty, and these two have been fighting each other incredibly hard so far. They don't want to go tripping over each other though, because Devon Butler is coming up from behind. He's on the attack too.
Aiden, Casper's not your priority. We need you to defend.
It's okay. I've got this.
Here comes Butler. 3 abreast going into turn 11. Oh, this can't work, and it doesn't. Ackerman's off onto the verge of what looks like damage as well.
Is he okay? Is Casper okay?
He'll be fine. He's heading for the pits now. You just concentrate on the race.
There we have it. Well, I'm sure there's going to be fireworks at the Alfa Romeo garage tonight.
There will be, Crofty, for sure. Look, it was a late move from Devon Butler, but you never want to see two teammates make contact, and Ackerman will surely be seething at that one.
Absolutely, and I tell you who else isn't going to be happy too. Aiden Jackson. Not how his F1 race debut should have gone.
The damage appears to be minor. How's it feeling, Aiden?
Yeah, car's okay.
Understood. See how well you can do out there.
Copy.
Right then, so after that tangle then with Casper Ackerman and Devon Butler, our objective has been updated now, and all we have to do is just finish the race. But we're going to try and gain some more positions and try and get into the points. But apparently, it looks like we do have a bit of damage. I didn't check the damage MFD panel, but it looks like we're going to have to try and get past Devon Butler again. As we come through the next few corners, the fast left right chicane, and again
we have 5 laps of fuel remaining.
we pick up a little bit on the steer there, but we're on for a personal best as we are coming through the final few corners now in sector 3. We absolutely nail these apexes. Just missed the apex bit there, but it's fine. As now we're catching up to Devon Butler now. The gap is 1.6 seconds, and the aim that I set myself was try and catch up to Lando Norris. So we're going to see if we can get to Lando Norris here. We've certainly personal best by 7/10. Going to turn 1, cut that corner a bit there, but no warning given.
Gap to
As we're
teammate
running
behind
regular
is 26.8
corner cutting rules.
seconds.
As now we come through into turn 3 and turn 4, and we are within a second now of Devon Butler. As into turn 5 and turn 6, and then into turn 7 and turn 8, and then through turn 9, and then into turn 10, we did get past Devon Butler there, but my footage cut out, so we're now on to lap number 13 of the Grand Prix. Hamilton's just setting a fast stop, a little bit loose there.
Hamilton has just put up the fastest lap of the race so far.
As Jeff confirms that Hamilton has just put a new fastest lap of the race. And now we're coming through the final few corners now. As that MFD thing there that shows the percentage of the tyres has actually been changed with the recent patch that came out. I'm also doing a Portrait Mile video that I should have tried to get that out before this one, but it won't. It'll be out after this one. So yeah, and now we're coming through into turn 3, and we try to catch up to Norris and maybe even get past Lance Stroll in the Racing Point, as what it's called in 2020. But obviously they were changed to Aston Martin for 2021. As now, I should really say Aiden Jackson instead of we. But anyway, as now Aiden Jackson comes through the next couple of corners to finish off Sector 2. And now we are into Sector 3 now, as we are actually up on our PB, as Hamilton sets another fast lap of the race with a 25.0. We're actually going to get DRS here off Lando Norris. But we're not quite close enough to make the move or anything, so... But now that we are within Lando's DRS, we're going to try and see if we can overtake him to get a P9 maybe in this race. As we come through the final corner now, open up DRS, deploy the ERS, and
this
now
is your final lap of the race.
Let's go on to the final lap now. So new personal best by 10th. Lando Norris locks up a bit there. Let's go through turn 1 and turn 2. Let's now open up DRS again, but we get on the grass again. Due to the understeer of the McLaren, we're going to try to send it to the inside of turn 3, but we can't quite get it to work. It's now through turn 4 and turn 5. We're still behind Lando Norris and Lance Stroll.
We've only got 2 laps of fuel left.
As we now go down into turn 6, there is lock a bit there. Have to slide a bit through turn 6 or turn 7, and now we come through the final few corners of Sector 2, and I'm going to start the Sector 3 for the final time in Australia here for Aiden Jackson, as Hamilton sets the fastest lap and is going to win the race. We're going to open up DRS, deploy the rest of the ERS that we have. Are we going to make a move going into the next corner? Yes we are. We're going to send it down the inside of Lando Norris. There is lock again, but we get the move done down the inside. Are we maybe going to get to Lance Stroll? Into the final few corners now. We are close to him, but all we need now is a good exit out the final corner to try and have a chance, but we get a little bit looser on the curb, opening up DRS and deploying ERS up to the line. We're going to come home to, and Aiden Jackson is going to finish P8.
Alright, race over.
In
Take care of the car on
the
way.
Australian Grand Prix, with Lewis Hamilton picking up the first race, the first win of the 2020 season.
So Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was. What a start to the season this has been. A fascinating race here in Australia,
The top teams as ever continue to push the boundaries of the sport, and it'll be interesting to see how the new Alfa Romeo driver Aiden Jackson settles in, especially after that early incident involving his teammate.
Well, we've certainly seen rivalries born from less. Suffice to say, if you came into the 2020 season hoping for a bit of drama, it looks like you won't be disappointed. And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
Right, and so after the podium celebrations and the Australian Grand Prix in general, we go on to the end of Chapter 1 now, as an awkward incident involving Devon Butler and his own teammate Casper Ackerman made Jackson's maiden outing in F1, the Australian Grand Prix, post-race.
Casper, listen, I don't know what happened out there. It wasn't my fault.
Well, whose fault was it then? Who was the idiot behind the wheel of your car, You're pathetic. You won't even admit when you made a mistake. How did they ever sign you?
Oh, Butler. Devon, I didn't see that.
Oh, what, like, out on the track today? You nearly took me out, mate.
Look, I don't know what happened. You cut in, I swerved. Next thing I knew, Casper was out.
Whoa. Mate, I was nothing to do with it. Whatever that was all on you. Don't be trying to pass the blame, because you haven't settled in yet.
Sorry, Aiden. Just bear with us 1 sec.
No problem.
I think that's really just a case of rookie driver, rookie mistakes. These cars are a bit different from what Aiden's used to in F2.
You seem to find your feet quite quickly after you graduated from Formula 2. What advice would you give to Jackson in his first season?
Well, stay out of my way mostly. And taking out your own teammate isn't something I would make a habit of.
Almost ready, Aiden. We're just checking audio levels.
Sure.
Seriously, Casper must be wondering what on earth Alfa Romeo were thinking.
That's great. Thanks, Devon.
Okay, Aiden. Let's talk about that incident with your teammate.
And then, so after having our first encounter with Devon Butler then, off track in the paddock, we're back at the team motorhome at the circuit, and we're in Aiden's room as always. Well, for this first season at least, I think. And then, hopefully it might be for longer, but I see the team tussle at Alfa Romeo there, as we're getting a call here from Brian, it looks like.
Brian?
Talk to me. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Listen, what happened out there today? I had it all under control and then...
Look, let's not go through all that now. We'll talk about it at the debrief.
Right, yeah.
I was actually talking about your little run-in with Casper and Butler over in the paddock.
Oh, wow. News travels fast.
The paddock talks, Aiden. Besides, I've got ears like a hawk. Listen, Butler's a clown. The man's ego is bigger than a... No, I've got nothing. Don't give it a second thought.
Thanks, Brian.
But Casper? Yes, he can get a little hot-headed, especially after a race. But you have got to work with him. That manoeuvre today...
Wasn't my fault, Brian.
It probably cost us points. I'll level with you. A lot of people on the team are disappointed, Aiden. And I'll be saying as much to Casper. Now, learn from it and move on. But you can't let it happen again. I'll see you at the debrief.
So, it looks like Brian there is not very happy with what we did with Casper Ackerman and Devon Butler. But we're looking at socials now, and people are saying that about Jackson doing stuff that I think it probably went down as a racing incident there to the stewards. But moving to the emails now, and apparently we have tomorrow's interview and photo shoot. So we have a photo shoot apparently tomorrow. Unfortunately, we're not going to get to see it because they just haven't coded it in yet. But they're going to get some more awards for completing stuff. And now we're going to head into the Chinese the next chapter. So it's the Chinese Grand Prix, to chapter 2. The world of motorsport moves fast, with focus quickly shifting to the Chinese Grand Prix Aiden Jackson and Alfa Romeo are eager to find form heading into the 4th race of the 2020 season, the Chinese Grand Prix, 1 month later. And we're going to get straight into it with this amazing cutscene. Very amazing, but it's okay cutscene.
It's the Chinese Grand Prix here in Shanghai, and this track fast becoming a rookie's favourite. Alex Albon, remember him from last year? A brilliant race in his debut season, and it looks like Aiden Jackson's continuing the trend.
He really is, Crofty. He's showing great promise so far this season.
Well, here's Ackerman now, going up behind his young teammate.
The rumour in the paddock, Crofty, is that the tension's building between these two. Let's see what happens here.
Here we go, Ackerman's going for it! Down the inside of the hairpin, he's barged his teammate off the track!
What are you doing? Casper, what the hell?
Looks like Jackson's really struggling to get over that.
Okay, Aiden, keep it focused. Concentrate.
That brush with his teammate clearly affecting the young driver.
It looks like it has, Crofty. I can't see any significant damage to that car, so he's going to have to pull himself back into this race.
Okay, the gap behind is 3.0 seconds.
Car's looking okay, Aiden. See if you can recover a few places.
What was that all about?
You can recover, Aiden.
That's not okay. That's really not okay.
Alright then, so it looks like Aiden Jackson's not happy with what Casper Ackerman just did to him there, as the objective was to finish in 10th place. I don't know, it said finish in 10th place, and he didn't see that pause. Totally did not pause to change the camera angle there. But anyway, we move on. As we're here in China, and we're heading to the final corner now. Obviously, again, we've got default setup on, but I catched it to Lando Norris this time, so gap to him is 1.1, and now we're coming through the first couple of corners now of the lap, and Jackson is trying to get past Lando Norris here. The gap is now 1.1 seconds as we go down into turn number 5, and you don't want to hit, you don't want to get too close to that apex because there is a bit of a bump there. I don't know if they fixed that in a recent patch, but now there was a bump like right on the apex, and it basically compromises your exit through the next few corners. But as you come through turn 9, turn 10, and come into the left-right chicane, and they've got a big sweeping right-hander, and we'll try to stay off that curb there to get the best line, but Jackson obviously has a thing where he likes to stay on that curb. So, but anyway, we're within DRS now of Lando Norris, as we get quite close to him going into the hairpin, the penultimate corner, and now go into the final corner now, and we are going to open up DRS, and now we're going to look for a move, maybe going into turn 1. We set a purple sector 3, new personal best, and we're going to try go for the move down the inside of turn 1, and get the move done. As you see in the bottom right there, I am actually changing the brake bias for turn 1 and turn 2 and turn 3, and I'm putting it back up to 56 for turn 5, because it just helps the car stick. It doesn't make it understeer.
We have 5 laps of fuel remaining.
That's just saying that we have 5 laps of fuel remaining. We're on lap 10 of 14. And next up is Esteban Ocon, and the gap is just under a second. It's bang on a second now. Now it's under a second. So we're going to get DRS again on the back straight, as we now come through the chicane again, and we're 2 tenths up on our personal best. We absolutely nail that chicane. Probably could have slowed it down a bit more, but it's fine. We're going to get a good exit out of the sweeping right-hander. I'm going to deploy EOS, and I'm going to open the DRS right about now, as we're gaining an S-band up on here. I'm going to try to look for the move. It's going to be around the outside of the hairpin. I'm going to go late on the brakes, as I'm going to go down. No, he's going to keep the nose up the inside there, but we get the traction down on the outside, and we make the move work on S-band Ocon, and we're now up into P12 of this Chinese Grand Prix, and Casper Ackermann there is 4 seconds ahead of us in P10, as we're not quite certainly personal best, but we are approaching some back marker cars here. And for this one I didn't actually change the brake bias. It doesn't really work, so you kind of need it on 51 for turn 1 and turn 2 and turn 3, and then put it back up to 56 for turn 5. As we get past George Russell there, as he's a lapped car. As now we go round the swooping left-hander, which is turn 7, and then into turn 8, which is a swooping right-hander, and then into turn 9 and turn 10. Got a little bit caught up here by Kevin Magnussen, and for good measure we're going to get a little bit of a slide on as we fight the back end there, as that was a bit sketchy, but we get past the lapped Kevin Magnussen, going onto the back straight, and as you can see there, we clipped the curb a bit there and we just kept going straight a bit, as I kind of should have waited to get past Magnussen, but he was a lap car because I would have got DRS, so, but it doesn't really matter. So let's come into the hairpin then to start on lap 11 to start, and then go through the final few corners to start lap 12, and up ahead there is Carlos Sainz. The gap is about 1 second, and it's 1.1, so we're not going to get DRS on this lap, but we will definitely get DRS on the next lap if we don't overtake him before the DRS zone, going to the back straight. Let's go into turn 1 and turn 2. Again, I forgot to change it to 51% brake bias, as we lock up again there into turn 3. And for good measure we get a wash of understeer, which pushes it as pushes Jackson out wide there. As we're down into turn 5, try to go late on the brakes, and we just go over that bump there because we because Jackson hit the curb there, and I got the extra rotation which made his car rise up, so it went over the bump. As now we go down into turn 8 and turn 9 and turn 10, as we are extremely close now to Carlos Sainz, and you can actually see Casper Ackermann there just ahead of Carlos Sainz. As now we go into the chicane before the back straight, we're going to stay behind Carlos, and now we come and we go down at the back straight now, as Aiden Jackson's going to look for a move here on Carlos Sainz. We're going to deploy the ERS, up into 8th gear. We're going to wait for the DRS. We're going to pull out way before the DRS line, as we now open up DRS, as we go down the inside there of Carlos Sainz.
You made it look easy.
As Jeff is happy with that. As I go into the hairpin now, up into P11, and next up is Casper Ackermann in P10. As we go into the final corner now, and open up DRS again. As Ressa pass the best again, but moving on to lap 13 of 14, and we are catching on Casper Ackermann here as we go through turn 2 and turn 3. Again, bit of a lock up there into turn 3, and then going through turn 4 and turn 5, and then turn 6, brake down to 2nd gear, try not to hit the bump as Casper did there, as now Aiden Jackson is going to cover through the fast sweeping right hander in 6th, maybe 7th gear. Got to be on the curb there, could have set out the car a bit, but with the default setup doesn't do much. As now we come through the next few corners, all left-handers, as now we come into the chicane before the back straight here in China, and we're gonna deploy the ERS about now, and we're gonna get to the overtake done way before before the DRS sign, I'm going to fly by Casper Ackerman, and that's how you overtake somebody. Not by trying to dive bomb them into a corner and sending them off the track, as what Casper did to Aiden earlier on in this race. And now come through the final corner, start the final lap of the race, and now on to the end of that final lap. Valtteri Bottas wins the race, and now coming through the final few corners, Aiden Jackson is going to come through for yet another points win if he could just keep it clean through the final corner, which he does as we come up, as Aiden Jackson comes up to the line to finish P10 to get his second points
the end of the
of
race. We'll see you in
the
Park
season
Fermé.
in what we've seen. But it was Valtteri Bottas who picks up the win here in round 2 in China.
Digest there, and a little bit ominous seeing the two Alfa Romeo teammates make contact again.
Things don't look stable between these two drivers, Crofty. They've barely been teammates 5 minutes.
That wheel bump, could that have been avoided, Ant?
Yeah, it looked like Ackerman was making a bit of a statement to me. He's certainly not given Jackson any room.
A sign of things to come? Well, for their sakes, let's hope not. That wraps things up here in China. Until next time. So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
Right, and so chapter 2, end of chapter 2 then. So following an eventful Chinese Grand Prix, tensions are on the rise at Alfa Romeo as Jackson and Ackerman again make contact with one another, following an aggressive overtake manoeuvre by the veteran Chinese Grand Prix post-race.
Casper, what the hell was that? You nearly put me out the entire race. Bumping wheels like that, you could have put us both into the barrier. Casper, come on, man.
I have to make a phone call.
Casper! Ackerman!
Mom! Cancel the TV subscription. The entertainment is right here.
Oh, come off it. Do you really have nothing better to do?
Right now? No. And why would I want to miss this? You two are like characters in a badly written sitcom. He wanted you all lot to sign Ricardo, you know. Ask anyone.
What do you mean?
The paddock talks, mate. And so did Ackerman. Should have heard him last season. He didn't care who he talked to, and he was always going off and on about you. He tried to stop him from signing you. He didn't want to play babysitter.
Oh, he did he?
Everyone knows. Have you not seen the way that people look at you? We all feel sorry for you, mate. You never stood a chance with him. You want my advice? Prove him wrong! Chin up!